Leeds United are set to be moving into that weird long run that we have from November until like March, where it's just football, 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 football at the league level. Occasionally they'll get a little bit of FA Cup in there, but not necessarily for long if you're Leeds United, because we know how this tends to work. And in that run is a transfer window that starts at the beginning of January and it goes all the way up until 11 p.m. on the 31st. I think. I've not double-checked it for this season, but that tends to be the case. And there's a lot of questions bouncing around right now around who is the perfect signing for Leeds United. Who should Leeds go for like that if they become available to make sure that the numbers are completely fine throughout the squad and we've got exactly what we need? And I'm going to have a little bit of a discussion on that in this video because there's been a little bit of talk about a few constantly linked players that I think we sort of need to discuss, break down, and work out if that is actually what is needed here at Leeds United. So, the first of the names that's popped up recently is James McAtee. James McAtee is someone that currently is at Manchester City, spent the past 2 years at Sheffield United, and got relegated with them. And you've got to look at James McAtee and see his numbers and say, that's not necessarily brilliant, because he was at a side that got relegated. Season before, he was at Sheffield United, who got promoted, and he looked pretty good. He was good at creating chances. He was good at finishing off chances, got a couple of goals, a few assists, and really, really looked like he was going to be the attacking midfielder that Man City were looking for in terms of the new Phil Foden. And the 24-25 season, the one that we are in right now, is where they sort of said, okay, cool, we're going to make that happen. We're going to make James McAtee the guy that is going to break through. So he didn't go out on loan last summer, and he made a few appearances relatively early in the season. But that's where he potentially bumps into some issues. So having a quick look at his season so far, I'm using a screen that has FBref at the minute. He's played a grand total of 54 minutes this season across the league and the Champions League combined. He's played a little bit in terms of Carabao Cup matches and stuff like that. But outside of that, he's had very little football. That includes a minute against Ipswich in the Premier League, played off the bench against Slovan Bratislava, managed to score a goal, brilliant, that's nice, but he didn't really do too much outside of that, and it was a match that was already won. And the same happened against Sparta Prague, where he came on the 68th minute when they were already absolutely demolishing Sparta Prague, and that sort of feels like that's going to be his role for the rest of the season. Occasionally, if they're absolutely pumping a team in a cup or a competition that they don't hugely care about, McAtee might get a go off the bench. It's not really enough for him, I think. Having been at Sheffield United last season, got a lot of football under his belt. Having been at Sheffield United the season before and gotten a lot of football under his belt. And the rumour is he's looking to go out on loan again this season to continue his development. But this is where the big question comes in of, what do Leeds United actually need? You see, McAtee is a good player, absolutely. He's really good at carrying the ball. His finishing is wonderful. But there is something that he tends to miss, and that would be the creative passing stuff. Everyone is saying right now we need a 10. We need a certain profile of 10. We need someone that does the playmaking stuff. So having a wider look at James McAtee, his passes attempted per 90 are very low. Bottom 1%. Pass completion rate of 69.5% is the bottom 2%. Progressive passes, the bottom 5%. That screams someone who plays in a Manchester City system and doesn't do much within it. In addition to that, his defensive numbers are also not very good at all. And sure, his numbers for progressive carries are good, successful take-ons are good, but if you want someone that is going to carry the ball and dribble through a midfield, just play Nanto as a 10. That's not what we need right now. What we need is someone that does the passing stuff, that creates the opportunities, which is where I think we come to who would arguably be actually our ideal signing for January. And it brings us back to a conversation that we had in the summer around Ilan Cabal. Ilan Cabal has genuinely very good numbers in Ligue 2 at the minute, playing for Paris FC, who are doing really well, to be completely honest with you. They are currently first in Ligue 2. A very good place to be. A couple of points clear of Dunkirk. They are looking like they are very likely to get promoted, and Cabal is a big part of that. He's got 99th percentile passes attempted numbers. He's the top percent, if I phrase that right. 81.5% pass completion in the top 10%. Progressive passes, top 3%. He's a very, very creative player. For example, his expected assists per 90 are incredible. And a lot of the time that gets turned into chances because it's not just he's going to force a ball through and that's going to be a really, really low chance of an expected assist, but he does that lots of times a game, so eventually it works out. No. He's good at creating genuine high-quality chances with his passing play. And for me, this sort of indicates what we need to be focusing on at Leeds at the minute. It's a case of when we're going into January, we can't be going, yeah, but what does the wider squad need in general? Because we all know at some point we need a number 9. We all know at some point Patrick Bamford is going to leave the club. And we all know that at some point Piru and Joseph are going to keep having this little frenzy, but you can't get by with just 2 strikers. You're going to need someone that is genuinely going to make that place theirs. We also will at some point need a left back. Absolutely. Same across the pitch. There are positions that need filling. Probably going to need someone to challenge Meslier in the summer. But I think this brings up the big concern that Leeds United have to have regarding any recruitment that is coming up this summer. People got excited about McAtee, and I completely understand that because he's a very good player that has very good coaching at the minute, so you know that his potential is going to be great. And the fact that they held on to him says that his potential is through the roof because Man City don't hold on to players if they don't properly believe in them. But the genuine concern, in my opinion, the thing that is making me think, well, is we need to put more attention onto player roles and do they do the job that we need right now? That's the reason whenever there's conversation about Meslier, I'm saying that's not really the priority because it isn't. Yeah, we drop a few points as a result of it. But compare that to the fact that we don't really have a playmaking number 10 in the side. That's where the priority needs to be in January because we know we're never very active in January. We'll get 1 signing, maybe 2 done, but we never go all out, bang, 3 or 4 players. We can't solve all the problems at once. So whilst this is admittedly the middle of November and it's bloody cold and it feels like it's January, we're not there yet. So I think what we do is we wait a little while, see what the problems are throughout the later parts of December and say, cool, what we need is straight up this, and this. Which is the priority? Cool, we'll target that. Right now, I think that is probably going to be an advanced playmaker kind of number 10. But I'm not going to hold myself to that one because, again, we need to judge later in December. Basically, this entire video is stating the idea that we can have patience with things. Take our time, work out what we need down the line. Let's not jump to conclusions. Because jumping to conclusions and making snap decisions is what got us to sign Weston McKennie and Jean-Kevin Augustin. Take our time, make the right choices, and Leeds United will get promoted. But we need to be very, very careful in what we do in terms of recruitment. But, as always, that is just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You can like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you're not yet. That is always really appreciated. Could even become a channel member if you want. You get videos like this one early. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. We could sign both of them. We could sign everyone. Fuck it. Why? Let's not follow PSR this time. Let's see what happens. Toodaloo.